Your imagination is the gateway to infinite realities. When it feels real, you're already living it. Neville Goddard. Hello and welcome. I'm glad you're here, because today we're diving into something incredibly fascinating, something that could shift the way you see the world and your place within it. Have you ever had the feeling that something in your life has changed, but you can't quite put your finger on what it is? Maybe things just seem a little different, or you notice subtle changes in the people around you. Well, what if I told you that you might have shifted into a parallel reality without even realizing it? Yes, parallel realities. It might sound like something out of a science fiction movie, but there's a growing belief that multiple versions of reality could exist side by side, with each of us shifting between them all the time, sometimes consciously, but more often than not, without even noticing. Now, before we get into the deeper signs of how you might have shifted, let's first touch on what we mean by a parallel reality. In its simplest form, a parallel reality is a version of your life that's happening alongside your current one, but with small, sometimes unnoticeable, differences. These realities coexist, and your consciousness can shift between them depending on your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. Every choice you make, every emotional response, every belief you hold onto can influence which reality you find yourself in. Some believe that our frequency or vibration, essentially, the energy we emit, determines which version of reality we experience. So, what happens when you shift to another one? How can you tell? One of the most common signs that you've shifted realities is the sudden, unexplained change in your environment. Have you ever returned to a place you're familiar with and thought, something feels off, even though everything looks almost exactly the same? It's that, almost, that matters. Maybe a picture on the wall is slightly tilted, or the layout of your favorite coffee shop feels unfamiliar. These tiny changes could be indicators that your consciousness has entered a slightly different version of your reality. Another sign is noticing changes in people around you. You might find that someone close to you, like a friend, partner, or family member, seems to act in ways that are subtly different from what you note. They might have different opinions, habits, or even memories of shared experiences. It's as if the person you knew has shifted slightly, or maybe it's you who has moved to a reality where they behave differently. The shifts can be so subtle that they're easy to brush off, but if you've ever had that nagging feeling of, "I don't notice them being like this," it could be a clue that you've crossed into a parallel reality. Then, there's the phenomenon of déjà vu. Most of us have experienced that odd feeling of familiarity with something we know we've never encountered before. Déjà vu could be more than just a trick of the brain. It might actually be a sign that you're experiencing a moment from another reality, one that you've already lived in before. It's as if your consciousness is recognizing a pattern from another version of your life, causing that flash of familiarity. You may also experience a change in your inner world. Your thoughts, feelings, or even desires might feel a bit foreign. Perhaps you wake up one day and realize you're no longer drawn to the things that used to captivate you. Or, maybe you develop new interests seemingly out of nowhere. This could be because the version of you in this new reality has different preferences, goals, or habits. It's as if you're gradually merging with this alternate version of yourself, taking on its characteristics without realizing it. Physical sensations can also be indicators of a shift. Have you ever felt a sudden dizziness, lightheadedness, or disorientation that didn't seem to have a clear cause? Some people describe this as feeling as though they've popped into a different reality. It's as if your body is adjusting to a new frequency, and the physical world around you needs a moment to catch up. These moments can be fleeting, but they leave a lasting impression, making you question what just happened. Another interesting sign of shifting realities is changes in your memories. You might vividly recall something happening one way, only to find out that it's different from how everyone else notes it. This could be something small, like the color of a building or the layout of a room, or something bigger, like an event in your life. These misaligned memories could be remnants of the reality you've just left behind, lingering in your consciousness while everything else around you has shifted. Synchronicities, or meaningful coincidences, also become more frequent after a shift. Have you ever noticed repeating numbers, like 1111 or 222, or maybe stumbled upon a book, person, or event that felt like it was placed in your path at exactly the right moment? These synchronistic events often act as signals from the universe that you're aligned with a different reality. It's as if the universe is giving you clues that things have shifted, and you're now on a new path. It's important to note that these shifts aren't always dramatic. In fact, they're often so subtle that you wouldn't notice unless you're paying close attention. But once you start looking for these signs, like changes in your environment, your relationships, your thoughts, and the synchronicities around you, you might begin to realize that reality is more fluid than we think. Some people also report feeling a greater sense of ease or peace after a shift, as if they've moved into a reality where things just flow more smoothly. You may find that problems that once seemed insurmountable start to resolve themselves, or that opportunities begin to appear out of nowhere. This can be a sign that you've shifted into a higher, more harmonious version of your reality, one that's more aligned with your true desires. However, not all shifts lead to a smoother life. Sometimes, you might find yourself in a version of reality that feels a bit more challenging or unfamiliar. This doesn't mean something has gone wrong, rather, it could be a sign that you've shifted into a reality that's pushing you to grow. These shifts might bring up new challenges or obstacles, but they can also offer valuable lessons and opportunities for personal transformation. So, how do you intentionally shift into a parallel reality that aligns with your desires? It all starts with your thoughts and beliefs. Since your reality is shaped by your inner world, the key to shifting into a new one is to change the way you think and feel about your life. This involves becoming deeply aware of your thoughts, paying attention to the stories you tell yourself, and shifting your focus toward the reality you want to experience. Visualization can be a powerful tool here. By imagining yourself living in the reality you desire, feeling the emotions, seeing the sights, and experiencing the events as if they're already happening, you can align your energy with that version of reality. Over time, this can help pull your consciousness into that new reality, allowing you to experience it firsthand. Gratitude also plays a huge role in shifting realities. When you focus on the things you're grateful for, you raise your vibration and attract more positive experiences into your life. By cultivating an attitude of gratitude, you begin to align yourself with a reality that reflects that same positivity, allowing you to shift into a version of your life that brings more joy, abundance, and fulfillment. Another subtle yet profound sign that you've shifted into a parallel reality is the sudden onset of new opportunities or unexpected life paths. Sometimes, after a shift, you might find yourself presented with chances that weren't previously on your radar. Maybe a job offer appears out of the blue, or you meet someone who opens a new door for you, personally or professionally. These opportunities often seem to come at just the right moment, as if the universe has rearranged itself to align you with a new course of events. The circumstances you once thought impossible suddenly become real, and you're left wondering how things changed so quickly. You might also notice that certain problems or struggles you've dealt with for years start to fade away. In the new reality you've shifted to, the solutions to those long-standing issues might present themselves effortlessly. Perhaps a health issue improves, or a conflict in a relationship smooths itself out without much effort on your part. It's almost as if the version of reality you're now in is one where those problems don't exist or have already been resolved. This doesn't mean life is free from challenges, but certain struggles may lose their intensity as you shift into a more aligned version of your life. Changes in your sense of time are another sign of a shift. You may find that time seems to move faster or slower than before. For example, days might fly by, making you feel as though you've lost time, or they may drag on endlessly, giving you the sense that time itself has stretched. These shifts in perception could be your consciousness adjusting to a different flow of time in the parallel reality you've entered. It's not uncommon to feel disoriented or confused about the passage of time when this happens, but over time, your mind adapts, and things start to feel more normal. In some cases, you might feel a deep, unshakable inner knowing that you've shifted realities. It's a subtle feeling of alignment, where you just know things are different, even if you can't point to specific evidence. You might sense that you've entered a new version of your life, one that is more in sync with your desires, goals, or even your spiritual path. This inner knowing often brings a sense of peace and acceptance, even when the external world feels unfamiliar. It's a feeling of being exactly where you're meant to be, even if you can't quite explain why. As we wrap up this incredible journey into the signs of shifting parallel realities, I encourage you to stay curious. The world is full of unseen possibilities, and the idea that we can shift between different versions of our reality opens up new ways of thinking about our lives. The signs are subtle but powerful, and by becoming more aware of these shifts, you might just notice the magic that's happening all around you. Now, if this video resonated with you and sparked your curiosity, there's a lot more to explore. If you're interested in diving deeper into topics like this, I invite you to hit the like button. Your support not only helps spread this information to others but also encourages more content that keeps us all growing and learning. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. By subscribing, you ensure that you won't miss out on any future videos that get into intriguing and mind-expanding subjects. There's so much more to uncover, and you'll want to be part of this ongoing exploration. Also, make sure to click the notification bell. By doing that, you'll be the first to know when a new video drops. You won't want to miss out on any of the exciting content that's coming up, especially as we continue to explore topics that help expand your awareness and understanding of reality. And lastly, if you found value in what we've talked about today, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on shifting realities, or maybe you've experienced signs of shifting yourself. Engaging with the content through comments helps us all learn from each other and keeps the conversation going.